What is up, Medicare Monsters? Thank you guys for joining us today. Today I have Korey Aston along with me. She's the Director of Strategic Partnerships for SunFire, and she is going to go over some of the highlights that SunFire has to offer. And so how are you doing today, Korey?
Hey, Steven, I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome. I am awesome. Kind of excited to see what you have to share.
Okay.
SunFire is an enrollment platform. We use it for all of our MAPD and PDP enrollments. And so we run a large LOA shop here where all of our internal production, if it comes to Medicare Advantage or prescription drug plans, it is submitted through the SunFire platform. And they're always evolving that platform, always adding new things to it and making it just a little bit better, a little bit better. And so this AEP, I think they've done that again. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn the stage over to Korey and let her go ahead and tell us all about how SunFire is going to be a game changer for all of us Medicare agents this AEP.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Steven, and thank you so much for the invitation. SunFire is so driven by agent feedback, and it's fantastic to not only be able to show up and show off the new features and what our product team has had up their sleeve and been working on all year, but conversely, it's really great to hear from the agents and get feedback and hear what's top of mind for them. It really drives our direction going into AEP and obviously beyond. So looking forward to sharing with you guys.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I'm sharing my screen if you want to bounce
Yeah,
over to that.
there we go.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So a little bit of what we'll do today is I just want to walk through some of the shiny, bright new objects that we have coming out in time for AEP and what we can do for you guys. So we're really excited to roll out something that we're calling our customer intake form or Blaze Sync. Obviously, Blaze Connect is the system that we use for quoting and enrollment, and Blaze Sync is this awesome new customer intake experience. So I'm actually going to jump over and show you guys what this is going to look like. It's slated to go live here on the 26th. So you'll see this start to populate in your agent profile at that time. And what you are going to see when you look in the system is right underneath that personalized URL that you've likely worked with in the past. You're going to see this customer intake URL. You can copy this and you can send this out to any of your clients in whatever email program that you use. And it is going to prompt them when they click on it to complete a series of steps that will help you better prepare for your appointment with them and or for them to self-enroll if that's what they choose to do. So this is what they're going to see when they click on it. And
And
they're going to
Korey,
start.
I
Yeah.
just want to ask this. This is a free feature. This is going to be released
Mhm.
to anybody who has the SunFire platform.
Yep, anybody who has SunFire is going to show this pop up in their platform
And you
on the
said the
26th.
26th. So today's Tuesday, the 24th. So Thursday or a little bit after Thursday, we should be able to see this live inside of our accounts.
Yeah, this is part of our release that's being put out tomorrow. So it starts to pop up on agents' accounts come Thursday morning.
Perfect.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for that call out. So it'll actually prompt you to go ahead and, or your client rather, to go ahead and put in their first, last name, their birthday, and then either email, phone number, or both. And this actually counts as the permission to contact. So first thing kind of out of the way. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to ask them for an address, and this is going to help look up doctors and pharmacies in their area. They'll go ahead and select their doctor, and if they want to enter multiple providers, they're absolutely welcome to do that. And then they'll continue on and they can type in their medications. They can enter up to 30 different medications here. Something that is nice is it will prompt them, hey, are you looking for the generic or the brand? And they can put in all of their information and save their medications. And then they can continue on and select their pharmacy, or if they prefer to do mail order, they can do that as well. And then the last thing is it will actually prompt them to complete a scope of appointment form. So they'll select everything that they're interested in discussing, and they'll go ahead and be able to do a virtual signature and sign and complete. At this step, it'll give them a couple different options. They can wait for you as their agent to call and set up an appointment with them. Or if they want to go ahead and look at local plans and pricing, they actually can click into this and they can look at plans in their area. And if they choose to self-enroll, they can do so, and you as the agent will get credit for that. So it takes it right into that kind of personalized experience. Okay. Something that is really cool about this is, let's say that they're going through this, they think that they can handle this on their own. If they get stuck, your phone number is up at the top. And when they click on that, it will give them a personal code. And if they call you, you actually can put that in on your SunFire side and help them. So multiple different ways in which they can either self-service or engage with you as their agent. But the idea is that they can collect all of this information ahead of time so that when you walk into your appointment with them, you know what's going on. And with all the changes in the PDP landscape this year, if somebody is, capable and able to go ahead and self-service and enroll in a new PDP plan, I think that's going to be a fantastic time saver for all of you. From the agent perspective, when someone completes an intake form in your SunFire, this is what it's going to look like. You'll see their name and you'll see this intake completed. And if you click on these little action buttons, it'll actually give you an option to quote and then subsequently enroll. And it'll take all of that provider information and medication information and funnel it right into your quote. So super exciting. I think this is going to streamline a lot for you guys. Of course, we still have that personal URL as well. This isn't taking the place of it, but this is just obviously a different flow and a different experience. We're really excited about it. Questions I get all the time on this are usually, hey, if it's a current client, is it going to overwrite their information? Is it going to create duplicate entries? So what we do is we do scrub that intake form and we see if it matches with a current contact. And if it does, we're simply going to add the information to it. We're not going to replace the information. What I think my fear is if we did go ahead and replace the information and they forgot to mention a medication they were taking the last year, you may not be prompted to ask for it. I think I'd rather you have all the information and have to go through and verify those drugs. You're going to do that anyways. And if you have to remove what you can.
So just to clarify, what you're saying is like if I had a profile built out, I maybe entered 2 drugs last AEP. I send them the form this AEP. They put 5 drugs in. One of them drugs is duplicated. When I see it, I'm going to see 7 drugs total. 2 of them may be in there, like they may have put Lipitor and atorvastatin or something, right? Like,
Right.
I've just got to clarify which one are they actually currently taking.
Correct. If they do the exact same drug at the exact same dosage, you're not going to see it twice. But yeah, in that instance, right, a generic versus a brand, it'll prompt you to ask.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's amazing. Alone right there, that feature right there. So I just like the idea of getting this data in there. They're putting in the data directly into the form. The form is pulling up all the drugs names from a database, right? Making sure that they're spelling it right. They're selecting the right dosage, whether it's a tablet versus capsule. They're putting all that information in there. And then by the time you get it, there's no re-entering the data, right? There's no room for error. No me selecting capsule or tablet or 30 days versus 90 days. All that is entered by the client. And I'm just confirming that this is the actual case by the time I'm on the phone and doing the enrollment with them, right? So it's taking a whole level of data entry out of it for the agent. And alone, that takes out a lot of room for error. So
yeah, I mean, and it just really streamlines your process. Like I know that I have so many friends that are agents. I was an agent, and I know everyone's a little stressed about how do you really efficiently help your clients who are going to want to make a move this year while also still having time to go hunt new business. So we just wanted to think about how we can make this process as easy as possible for y'all so that you can focus on continuing to grow your book.
Yeah, no, I love that. I like that you called it Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, so our former personalized URL technology was called Ember. So the Ember died out and now the Phoenix is rising.
Okay.
Yeah, we're really big on names over here. Our product team is pretty creative.
I like it. It's a nice play on words.
And that actually what leads us kind of perfectly into the next thing that I want to talk about. And this is our personalized URL site. So technically it falls in our like direct to consumer product line, right? Like what we build out for people who want to self-service. For your perspective as an agent, you use this in your Pearl. And what we're doing is we have just kind of streamlined what that flow looks like. So for those of you who've used it in the past, it asks for a zip code and then it kind of highlights on the screen where you should click, but it doesn't really guide the person through that experience. And the new technology will ask for a zip and then it'll prompt them for drugs and prompt them for doctors, very similar to the experience you just saw with that with the Blaze Sync, our new customer intake. So we just wanted to make it a little bit more intuitive. We're really excited about this. It's in final stages of carrier and CMS approval. We have to file all of these because obviously they're consumer facing. But what also is going to be kind of cool is it will allow them to put in their MBI and their date of birth, and it will pull back some of that client data. So for those of you who use SunFire regularly, it's that customer lookup tool on the agent side. It's not going to give all the same amount of information that you get as an agent, but it will confirm that MBI is correct and fill in the MBI and A and B effective dates into the enrollment form. So pretty cool tool for somebody if they're going to self-enroll to make sure that those things that are very commonly errors on an enrollment form are avoided. So
Yeah, you would think the dates are some of the simplest things to enter, but yeah, that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that we see on a lot of the applications that come through.
Right. So we just, and if the MBI isn't correct when they enter it here, it'll tell them, hey, we can't find that. We can't find you. Right. And then they'll know that they probably made a typo when it came to entering their Medicare number. So pretty neat. All right, this is where I think it starts to get really exciting too. I love our customer lookup feature as a former agent. I wish I had something like this in the field space before SunFire rolled this out. There really wasn't anybody that had access to something like this unless you were lucky enough and rare to have Marks access.
Yeah.
But we really want to continue to expand upon what we can show you when you use this customer lookup tool, and you'll see that we've made some enhancements for this year. So when you enter an MBI, a date of birth, and a zip code, it bounces back in real time, confirming that that MBI is correct. It gives you these Part A and B effective dates. It tells you if they're eligible for Medicaid. It gives you LIS status and which level of LIS they actually have. It'll tell you the current plan that they're on. It tells you the previous plan that they're on, and it gives you an idea of how many other plans they were on in the last 12 months, so that if you have somebody that you're like, ooh, they've had 2 or 3 plan changes, you know that they're a switcher, and that's somebody that you probably want to touch base with on an even more regular cadence. What we're adding to this that I think is really cool is it will start to show if they've had time where they didn't have Part D, so you would know that they likely would have a penalty for not having Part D. It'll tell you as the agent if they may be eligible for a Medicare group health plan. And then conversely, it also is showing some special enrollment periods. So this example is released from incarceration. But generally speaking, we're not going to have every single SEP right off the bat, but over time, our goal is to have the system prompt if there is an SEP available to them in their area. So pretty cool. You'll start to see all of these pieces over the next week or two here. These are slowly being released in preparation for AEP.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. I mean, you're essentially taking a lot of the thinking out of it for the agent, right?
Right. I mean, we're just arming them up front, with more information walking into this appointment. And I think it helps legitimize that agent and really shows what an advisor they are when they walk in and they know all of this stuff and can obviously help their beneficiary get the best plan.
Right. Them are powerful tools to have. Like I said, thinking of just being the agent without that versus the agent that has all this in hand. Like I said, it arms you with the tools necessary to be like, nope, I got this. This is what you have. This is how long you've been without Part B, and so on. So
Right.
I love that.
Cool. Well, and for field agents who've been competing against the large call centers, call centers tend to have access to Marks and they have some of these tools and resources. So, obviously we really value our call center partners too, but I think this kind of levels the playing field. And obviously as a former field agent, I nerd out about this kind of thing. I think it's really neat.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've went through the hurdle of getting Marks for all of our agents for the last couple of years or 3 years now. And it's a pain trying to get that. It's something, it's constantly getting revoked. We have to go back and reapply for access. And we have to monitor it pretty consistently to make sure all of our agents have that access. If I have this for all of them, then I don't even know that I need to worry about having Marks anymore. So you're making my life a little bit easier. I like that.
Cool. Hey, we aim to please. So something else that I think is really kind of fun is this CSNP eligibility that you're seeing up here. So there are a handful of medications that if somebody is taking that medication and at a certain dosage, they likely qualify for a CSNP plan. So if you enter a medication that falls into that category, our system will actually notify you, hey, you might want to talk to this client and see if they're eligible for a CSNP. It's likely that they are. Obviously, CSNPs are kind of the hot new product. Obviously, they're not new, but I feel like they've had a lot of attention over the last year or
Definitely
two.
growing for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of carriers are focusing on that because it's a really financially beneficial market and obviously solves for some fantastic problems for seniors who qualify for them. So
I
we
think
just
I
want to
heard a
make sure.
stat that 50% of Medicare beneficiaries would qualify for a SNEES SNP if one was available to them.
Right.
So,
Right.
um,
And so we want to help kind of take the guesswork out of that for you guys as agents and give you a heads up if it looks like based on their medications that they're going to qualify. So,
and will that it'll always give us that, like say it's Humulin, even if the plan's available in that area, like it's just going to give us that heads up, or only if the plan's available, like if there is a CSNP available.
yeah, so this is happening during that needs assessment. So you haven't viewed all plans yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
So
it's going to give you the heads up that,
just
you
to be
should
on the
enter
lookout
more
for it.
eligibility.
Right. Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah. Couple other things that we're adding a flex benefit filter. So when you actually go look at all the plans, like the grocery cards, meal cards, those things that people really tend to shop based upon, it is going to have an option where you can click that and it'll show you plans that have those types of benefits. I don't have an example of exactly what that's going to look like yet. Our product team has been digging through. Obviously, all the carriers structure those a little bit different, and some people have really unique things, and some people have meal benefits or grocery benefits, right, that are pretty, standard across the board. So we're just trying to figure exactly the best way to display that. And of course, we would love some feedback from you guys once you start to use it on how it looks. But we're excited to have that in time for AEP. And then we've just put a lot of work into streamlining and enhancing our provider tools and updates. So what I mean by that is historically, we have had complaints about providers not matching what you're seeing on a carrier site. And obviously, if it happens one time, it kind of puts into question, oh, is this happening more times? Right. And so we went to our carrier partners this year and said, hey, this is a huge issue for us and for the industry, and we want to make sure that we're on the same page with you guys. And what was happening is sometimes we were getting data more often and updating it more often than a carrier was updating their website, or maybe we'd update on a Wednesday and they'd update on a Friday, right? And so there'd be a period of time where there was their discrepancy, or we would only get updates once a month or once a week. So what we've done is we've said, hey, we want to update on the exact same cadence that you do. So if you update every single Wednesday, we want to update every single Wednesday. If you update every morning at 9 a.m., we want to update at 9 a.m. And let's make sure that whatever data you're sending us matches exactly what you're putting on the website. So we've had an enormous amount of success in that endeavor this year. I'm excited to see how you guys feel about it during AEP, but just know that we're really focused on that, and the carriers are super invested in partnering with us on that to make sure that the data you're seeing in SunFire and on their site is consistent. So
No, I
we
love
heard
it.
you.
Yeah, because I hear that a lot. That usually comes up the ladder to us. And it's like, oh, there's this discrepancy, and I'm like, it's not that big of a deal, but in some cases it could be. But yeah, it just goes to add to that peace of mind of knowing, yes, everything's in sync, everything is aligned. There's no discrepancies. If that website says it, our website says it, and we're all good to go. So I love that.
Yeah. Well, and I think, what you're seeing, Steven, is like we're trying really hard to create a total solution where you don't have to leave the platform to go hunt something down, right? Like we want to make it so that you can come in, you can be efficient, you can trust everything you see, you can do everything in one place. And I think that that just makes it so much easier to do business. And especially if you're bringing on new agents or growing your agencies, being able to train them to stay in one place is going to be such a better experience
I
for
mean,
new
it
employees
was it
too.
was I think it was the whole idea behind the creation of the platform, right? Was like get all of the enrollment applications in one uniform application so we don't have to jump through all these carrier websites. And then you guys have taken that a step further with, okay, now that we have them in here and they're doing the enrollments in here, what else can we consolidate into this platform? The scope of appointment, the gathering of the drugs, the doctors, all of these things are going hand in hand, like I said, to keep you in one place. And
Exactly.
when you're trying to pump out the amount of business that we pump out during AEP, you're trying to service and do the right thing for every single client, but we're trying to do that at a high rate. And
Right.
this helps us cut out the little bitty errors that we're making, right? Part A and B effective dates, wrong SEPs selected, wrong drugs entered, wrong doctor selected, right? All of the room for error is almost being taken out of the equation.
Yeah. I
With
mean,
just leaving you to What's that? Oh, your Dr. Jones, Jon, right? And that's all I got to type in, and Dr. Jones pops up in whatever his location is. So I love it. I've always been a fan of the SunFire platform. It's the reason that our agents use it at the level that they do. I think we adopted it about 3 years ago, and it's probably one of the biggest adaptations that we've had in our agency to expedite what our agents were doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and ultimately, I personally, and I know us as an organization, but in this industry, the value and the role of the agent is so important. I don't think technology is ever going to replace it. And there's that terrifying like AI word, right, that people throw around. And I think there are times and places for technology, and our goal is how do we make the agent more efficient and help them do their job better so that they can continue to help more and more people.
I mean, I think we're getting there. I don't know how much more we can take out of it, right? like,
Right.
like,
Well,
like the job, our job has been, the all the things that we had to do, the time consuming processes have been taken out of it. So we still need you as the agent to make that decision, right? AI can't go into the home and figure out what Miss Jones's situation is and decide whether or not they need to be on this plan, or this, right? That's where you as the agent's going to come in. And I think, like you said, there's always going to be the need for that. However, we can use these AI tools and software and platforms to help us. But yes, there's always going to be a need for the agent. I think the carrier understands that too. So I don't think that there's any room or any reason to worry about our jobs going away. I think we're pretty secure in our industry. So
exactly. Yeah.
but
So
no, I love where you guys are going with this. Have you
yeah,
got any more goodies to share with
I
us?
do. I
Oh,
do.
keep
So
going then. Bring them
yeah,
on.
but wait, there's more. So as part of that customer lookup experience, and we actually tested this a little bit throughout the month of August. So those of you who were using SunFire and enrolling people and using our customer lookup feature may have seen this a little bit. We pulled it down to make some enhancements in September, and we're working on having this back up and running for AEP. We just need to make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's from a compliance perspective. But we're looking to have a drug and doctor pre-fill. So what I mean by this is when you use that customer lookup feature and it bounces back with all that information we just talked about on the last page, what it also is going to start to bounce back with is any previously entered medications or providers. So what I mean by that is if in the SunFire platform in our database, if we have ever had a medication in the last year is kind of what we're looking at, have a medication or a provider entered tied to that MBI, when you use that customer lookup, it actually is going to populate. And you'll see here, it'll mention medications were found, please review and verify. Doctors were found, please review and verify. So if you have a new client and you want to go ahead and or even a current client, maybe it's somebody you haven't put in the SunFire system before, you have a CRM, right? And you don't want to have to go in and type all their medications and all their doctors. If you put their MBI and date of birth and zip in and you use that customer lookup, it may very well bounce back with previously entered information in SunFire. And it'll show you, we think these are the medications they could be taking, these are the providers that they could be taking, that they could be seeing, and you can verify, hey, is this still accurate? Which I think one, increases efficiencies, and two, legitimizes that agent experience too, which is fantastic. So we've had lots of questions about where this data is coming from. And it's coming from our own SunFire database. So SunFire is slated to do 55% of every enrollment through Medicare this year. And we basically are tapping into our own data warehouse and saying, hey, we have this MBI in our system. This is what somebody's entered previously tied to it. We'll go ahead and display that. So we're pretty excited about it. We're not using CMS. We've gotten that question quite a bit. I think that's obviously a great tool, but it can have some technology hurdles, and we think that this is going to be the most efficient way to do this. So probably 35 to 40% of the time you'll see this pop up, but as our database grows and as more people continue to use SunFire to input clients, then obviously it'll continue to grow with
Yeah, I was
bounce
just
back
about to say,
information.
if you're already at 50%, or a little over 50% of enrollments coming from the platform, yeah, I imagine that number to continue to grow, and we eventually get to the point where 80 to 90% of enrollments are coming through SunFire, and you guys have access to pretty much all of this data. Like you said, it's not doing a CMS like blue button pool or anything like that, but you're pretty much getting the data that's been entered for this client at some point in time.
Exactly. So we're really excited about it. Like I said, hopeful that this is going to be live for you guys in time for AEP, but if not, it'll be, hopefully soon after. We're just making sure from a compliance perspective that we're doing everything we need to be doing. So, and then kind of one of the almost last things here is our Medicaid lookup. So we used to have this as part of our customer lookup experience. When you went in to look at all the plans and you clicked on special needs, this box would pop up at the top and you could enter a social or a Medicaid number, and it would tell you specifically which level of Medicaid they had. It's in 29 states. It's not available in every single state, but obviously a majority of them. And we're continuing to work on growing that every day. There are some states, like my home state of Idaho, that are not super tech savvy. And so it's a little bit more of a challenge to get that data to flow into some. And we have been down for the past few months related to Change Health and the issues that they were experiencing. We do use them as a vendor. And we have been told they're going to be up and running by 9:30, so no minute like the last minute. And we're going to quickly turn around and get that up and running again in SunFire. So we're hoping that by the time you get to 10:15 and you're ready to start enrolling, you can actually put in this MBI or social and see which level of Medicaid they have. And then the system will actually filter out the plans that they qualify for or don't qualify for, rather. So you're only seeing plans that are applicable to their level of Medicaid. You always can view all plans. We're never going to prevent enrollment, but the idea is to kind of guide you in the right direction so that you don't have to try and figure it out. So pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that was a big tool for us when we started doing a lot of the
Yeah.
DSNP and LIS marketing probably 2 or 3 years ago. Always been a fan of the Medicaid lookup tool. So I like that you added the green badges, and it'll tell specifically what plans will accept what, levels of Medicaid and so on. That was a nice little addition.
Yeah, we're just ready to have it back. And then kind of the last little bit here, these are some other kind of fun updates coming down the pipe, but we are looking at, or we will rather have Spanish facing consumer materials for AEP. So what I mean by this is if you send them that enrollment form to look through to verify, it'll be available to be toggled between English and Spanish. We've had a lot of requests for that over the last couple years, and we're really making an effort. We're obviously going to be just starting on consumer facing for AEP, but early next year we'll be looking at expanding into the agent side of it as well. So something to keep in mind for those of you who are bilingual. We obviously have continued to expand our med sub side of the house. So for those of you who maybe haven't toyed around with that yet, we have a pretty fantastic coding experience, and we had some enrollment functionality where you didn't have to leave the SunFire platform when we first released, but we've really expanded upon that now. So something that you definitely should check out if you haven't already. And then we're really looking at moving into dental, vision, and hearing as well. So we have Aflac that'll be coming live soon, Humana that'll be coming live soon, Aetna. So we really want to be able to give you guys that kind of shopping cart experience where you can enroll them on their plan and then conversely see if there are other things like this, or hospital indemnity is on our roadmap as well. We're hopeful that maybe we'll have that in time for AEP as well, if not, soon after. So really just looking to figure out how we can, one, give you guys opportunity to make additional revenue, but at the same time help your client. It's really a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. On the Medicare supplement applications, what carriers do you currently have that you can actually submit? I'm assuming like Aetna, UHC's in there.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and follow up with you with a full list. We have had a couple that are just about to kind of come live, so I don't want to leave somebody out that I should be including. So I'll give you an update here. Our team's actually working on it as we speak. We have a release coming out tomorrow, so there's like two of them that we're hoping will turn the light on in the next like 48 hours. So I'll follow up with you with a list.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that's exciting. Like I said, you can see the features that they're adding. They're constantly adding on to the platform on top of what it's already evolved to become. As I mentioned, it's the main tool that we're using to have a successful AEP. If you're not using SunFire and you're in our hierarchy, if you're in the BBI, the Bobby Brock Insurance hierarchy, and you're not using SunFire, you're doing yourself a disservice. Just reach out to me. You have a SunFire account, just making sure that you're getting in there and actually utilizing the platform. is what we need to do. So just if again, you're not on there, reach out to us. Let's make sure that you are using it well before AEP. So by the time October 15th gets here, you're well versed on how to get these things accomplished. You're getting scope of appointments signed well before your meetings. You're getting drugs and doctors gathered. And by the time you have that appointment, it's just a matter of picking out the plan based on the information that the client's already given you. So,
yeah. Thanks, Steven. We were really grateful to be able to spend some time with you guys in person. I think last week before last, the weeks are blending together at this point. But, I really appreciate y'all taking the time. They sat down with our Chief Business Officer, Ben Miller, and our Chief Product Officer, Max Pickett, and we got to get feedback from you guys in how we can improve the platform and what direction we can go and how we can better partner with you all. So, I want your agents to know that you guys really advocate for them, and all the stuff that they bubble up to you, that you guys are really good about bringing it to us and helping us design our roadmap and helping us figure out what direction we should run and where we can focus on improving the system. So thanks so much.
Yeah, for sure. I think, that's where we have some values is we usually have some ideas on how stuff can be improved. And, when agents are throwing that stuff at us, we're like, well, you're right. That sounds good. But, and how can this be practical? How can we pass this on to be a value add to all agents and not just an individual agent? Right. Again, Korey, thank you for being here. SunFire's always good to us. They're constantly have been a partner with our Medicare Con conference. And so if you haven't got a chance to come to Medicare Con and you're going to come next year, be sure to stop by their booth. They're always going to be set up there with us. And like I said, in the meantime, we're hoping you have a successful AEP. If you have any questions about the SunFire platform, reach out to me if you're in our hierarchy. If you're not, reach out to whoever your upline is in your current hierarchy. And I'm sure they have access to the SunFire platform that can get you on. And like I said, make sure you're using these tools so you can blast AEP out of the world. So
awesome. Thanks so much. It was good to see you all.
Thank you, Korey. Thank you guys for joining. I hope everyone has a great day. See you guys next time.
Bye.